This is pretty much the summary of this project. Yay! Welcome to Cosplayland. I am Alice and today I'm going to carry on with my Christmas project. I'm going to be making the dress and I will be uploading the pattern for this project later on when it's all finished. All my patterns come without seam allowances because I find it easier to add as much as you need, and if you ever need to modify your pattern, it is just easier to do this way. Yeah, this one is not working, so yeah, I'm just gonna swap that. Once you have your pattern ready, you just need to cut the pieces for your pattern. I'm going to be using my overlocker, so the seam allowance is slightly smaller than usual for me, but feel free to add as much as you need. Also, there are some pieces that won't need seam allowance at all because I'm going to be adding a hem to it, so I don't want them to look too long. Any pieces that will have a trim, I'm not going to add any extra length because the trim is going to make it a bit longer. I'm going to start by assembling the top part. It comes in two pieces, the front is folded and the back is divided in two. What you want to do is with your fabric, right sides together, which is the nice fabric, looking at the nice fabric, you are going to put the sides on top of it and we are just going to sew the sides. For the arms, just fold your fabric in half and make a tube. I'm going to assemble the sleeve next, and the first thing I need to do is make sure that I'm putting them correctly. I made a notch so I remember which side is the front and which side is the back. Then I just need to match the seams and I'm gonna be adding some clips around it to make sure they match. It's much easier if you first start with the corners and then add some clips in the middle and go from there. This way you will have a perfect sleeve. Then I just need to stitch it together. I'm going to be doing the skirt now, so what I need to do, same as before, is just stitch the sides. I am getting a little bit of help for this part. I am teaching my cat how to sew, so I'm sure this project will be done in no time. It's okay, you can use your mouth too. No worries. Kitana gave up, so I had to do it by myself. I again matched the seams and then I attached the skirt to the bodice, and then I just had to close the seam at the back as well, and this dress will be finished. As I am using elastic fabric, I won't need to add a zipper to the back. However, my fabric was very heavy, so my initial mock-up didn't work as well as I thought, so I had to modify the pattern slightly so it would fit me. Fitting a pattern is quite common and it's not so difficult as long as there's not a big gap that you have to modify. In my case, I just decided to take a few inches on the back and a little bit on the sides as well. But don't worry because I have already modified this pattern, so you won't have this problem. Making an off-the-shoulder dress can be a bit risky, so what I'm going to do is add an elastic band to the edge of my collar to make sure it doesn't fall off my shoulders. In order to do so, what I'm going to do is just start with a few stitches to make sure my elastic band is not moving, and then I'm going to slightly pull until I feel a little bit of resistance, about 10%, and this is just gonna make my fabric slightly tighter and it's not gonna fall off as often. This is barely noticeable once you put the fur, and it's a very good trick that will save you from a lot of trouble. You will need to use a zigzag stitch on your elastic, otherwise what's gonna happen is that any straight stitches will break once you're wearing it because it can't stand the pressure of the elastic being pulled. And finally, we need to attach the fur. As if I didn't have enough with two cats. This is gonna be messy. Keep in mind that the elastic will want to roll inwards, so you want to add seam allowance to that side as well. Of course, the dress is not bulletproof, so it may fall if you move a lot, but overall I'm quite happy with it. And if you are worried about it, you just have to add some straps on the sides, which will be hidden anyway by the ponytails. It is time to add the fur. I already explained how I cut my fur, but here's another method. Instead of using an X-Acto knife, you can also use like small scissors and just make sure that you are not catching any of those fibers in between them. If you do so, you will still get quite a clean cut, but I think that overall you get like a bit more fur using this method. It is a bit quicker, but it will depend on how much you can be bothered. No matter what you do, you will end up covered in hair. A good trick is to just use the comb. It's better if you have a pet one to get the excess of those fur out, and then you can also use some tape to get all those little extra hairs that just got stick to your clothes and everything. Of course, if you have cats like I do, this is nothing new, so yeah, this is just every day in my life. Right, Kitana? Once again, I use the zigzag stitch to attach all the fur. And I also make sure all those corners look clean and sharp. Finally, I just had to hand stitch the whole trim. Actually, I have not finished yet because this is gonna take forever, but by the end of the project, I promise I'll have it done. And here is the final piece. You can tell that it's not really necessary to fold those edges, but I think it will look a little bit nicer, so I am going to do it. I still need to add the pom-poms and the ribbon, and I have to make the hood, but I will be doing that next week. So make sure you subscribe to the channel and click that notification bell so you don't miss it. This dress is so comfy and so Christmassy, I just love it. It does stay on my shoulders without any help, but for more comfort you can just put it up and down again. It actually stands quite a lot, so yeah, quite happy. The neck at the back is quite nice as well, and yeah, you can be as silly as you want. You wanna go sexy? Yeah, you can do it with this cosplay, baby. But in general it's quite safe because I'm going to attach the hood here. I made my cosplay slightly big because I wanted it to be comfy, but feel free to adjust it to your body as much as you want. Personally, I'm planning on eating a lot of Christmas pudding and I'm gonna need the extra space. If you like this video, make sure to let us know in the comments, and hopefully we will see you next week with the end of the tutorials for this dress. See you next time, bye! Okay, I almost died.